Okay, so another type of example is where they ask me to determine the corresponding equation with the given information. In the first example, they're asking me to determine a sine function with an amplitude of 3, a period of 3 pi, a horizontal shift of 2 pi units to the left, or they can also tell me with a phase shift of minus 2 pi. Remember, when they give me if they tell it to me in terms of horizontal shift, they are going to be telling me the direction. I have to figure out the sign. Or a phase shift of minus 2 pi. It can come in any of both ways, as a horizontal shift of 2 pi to the left or a phase shift of minus 2 pi. Okay? Then they are telling me with a vertical shift of 4 units down, they will have to tell me the direction. Vertical shift of 4 units down. So what I have to remember is that the basic shape of the equation of the sine function, A, sine of bx plus c plus d, where A is the amplitude, B is the denominator of the period, C is the horizontal movement, and D is going to be the vertical shift or movement. So I begin first. My equation will necessarily need to have sine. So first I place the amplitude. The amplitude in the problem was 3 at the beginning. So 3 sine of bx plus c plus d, following the original form of the sine function. So I place the amplitude. 3 sine bx plus c plus d. From there, I go over with the period. They told me at the beginning of the problem that the period was 3 pi. So my period is 3 pi, and I remember that the formula of period is 2 pi over b. What I need in my equation is the b value. So what I do is that instead of writing period, I write the given value of the period, which was 3 pi at the beginning of the problem, equals the formula 2 pi over b, and solve for b. In this case, the b is going to pass multiplying and the 3 pi dividing. So I will end up having, therefore, these 3 dots mean therefore, b is equal to 2 pi over 3 pi. I cancel the pi's, and then I have that my value of b is 2 over 3. So I come back to my equation. In this case, the recommended thing to do is to leave the b out of the parentheses. Instead of writing bx plus c directly, I have to leave it out of the parentheses. Not directly with the x, I write it differently. So I will have y is equal to 3 sine of bracket 3 over 3, which 2 over 3, which was the value of b that I got with the formula of period, times x plus c plus d. Okay, so b is the value of the period that I got in this part over here. 2 pi over 3, that's what I have. From there, I include the vertical shift or the vertical movement. So I will be having y is equal to 3 sine of 2 pi over 3 times x plus c minus 4. In this case, they told me that my graph was going down. So that means that my vertical shift is going to be represented with a -4 in the equation. Remember that this value can be written at the end or at the beginning of the equation. From there, in order to finish this problem, so I have y is equal to 3 sine of 2 over 3x plus 2 pi minus 4. The plus 2 pi. Remember that in the original problem, they told me that my graph was going to be shifted to the left, or having a phase shift of minus 2 pi. What this means is that if the graph is going to the left, the sign in the equation, according to the information that you saw in Math 3, is going to be represented with a positive sign. Plus 2 pi means that the graph is being shifted 2 pi units to the left. Okay? So I have y is equal to the amplitude 3 sine of 2 over 3, which is my b value of the period, x plus 2 pi, which is the horizontal shift to the left, minus 4, which was the vertical shift. And the last thing that I have left to do is to FOIL with the 2 over 3 with the x and the 2 pi, and I will end up having y is equal to 3 sine of 2x over 3 plus 4 pi over 3. If I multiply the 2 over 3 times 2 pi, I will have 4 pi over 3 minus 4. And this is going to be my final equation for that problem in particular. Let's go over to another example. They're now asking me to find a cosine function. They have to specify whether it is sine of cosine or cosine. In this case, it is telling me a cosine function with an amplitude of 5, a period of pi, a horizontal shift of 3 pi units to the right, which also means, or can be said, a phase shift of 3 pi. Okay? Any of both ways is correct. You just have to remember that when I am using the phase shift, I have to change the sign. And if it says right, well, the sign of this one is going to be negative. Then they are telling me that the vertical shift is of 2 units up. And I have to remember the shape of the cosine equation. Y is equal to A for amplitude, cosine of B, which is the denominator of the period, x plus C, which is the horizontal movement, and plus D, which is the vertical movement. So, I locate my amplitude first, 5 cosine because they told me at the beginning it was a cosine function, the amplitude was of 5 cosine of bx plus c plus d. From there, they were telling me at the beginning of the problem that my period was pi. So the period is pi, the formula of period is 2 pi over b. So instead of writing period, I write the given period of the problem. Pi is equal to 2 pi over b, and from there I solve for b. So therefore, the 3 points mean therefore, b is equal to 2 pi over pi, because I solve for b, the b goes multiplying and the pi, which was the value of the period, goes dividing, the pi's cancel, and I end up with a value of b equals 2. So in my equation, this means that y is equal to 5, the amplitude cosine of 2, which was the value of b that I got from the period in this procedure over here. X plus c, remember to first leave the value of b outside of the parentheses, and then the vertical shift of positive 2 because they were telling me that the graph was shifted 2 units up. Once that I have this, I proceed to finish my equation. So I will be having y is equal to 5 cosine of 2x minus 3 pi, which was my horizontal movement. Remember that they were telling me here that the graph was going to be shifted 3 pi units to the right, or with a phase shift of 3 pi. Okay? So if it goes to the right, that is going to be represented as a negative sign in the equation. So x minus 3 pi, which is my horizontal shift, plus 2, which was my vertical shift. So finishing this, I have to do FOIL with the b value. So 2x here, 2 times 3 is 6 pi plus 2. Remember that this plus 2 can be written at the beginning or at the end of the function. My final equation, y is equal to 5 cosine of 2x minus 6 pi plus 2. Now, please try this. Try this exercise. Try to do it. And we will discuss the solution. I will explain the solution in a little while. It's a sine function with amplitude 3, period of pi over 3, a horizontal shift of pi over 2 units to the right, or a phase shift of pi over 2, a vertical shift of 5 units down. The solution for this problem, again, y is equal to amplitude 3, which was a given value at the beginning of the problem, sine of bx plus c plus d. From there, I get the value of b of the period. They were telling me that my period was pi over 3, so the formula for period is 2 pi over b, so pi over 3 is equal to 2 pi over b, and solve for b. Therefore, b is going to be 2 pi over 1 over pi over 3. This is tortilla. So I have 6 pi over pi. I cancel the pi's, and my b will have a value of 6. So from there, I put it in the equation. Y is equal to 3 sine of the value of b that I found, 6, and in the parentheses I leave x plus c. And the vertical shift of 5 units down is going to be represented as a negative 5. From there, I include the horizontal shift. They were telling me that the graph was going to be moving pi over 2 units to the right, or with a phase shift of pi over 2. Remember that the movement, the horizontal movement to the right, is represented with a negative sign in the equation. So my horizontal movement is of minus pi over 2, minus 5, which was my vertical shift. And from there, I do FOIL with the value of b. So I will end up having 3 sine of 6x minus 6 pi over 2 minus 5. If I put this at the beginning, the vertical shift at the beginning of the function, this is what I'm going to be getting. Minus 5 plus 3 sine of 6x minus 3 pi. The 3 pi comes from simplifying this fraction. 6 over 2 is equal to 3. And that would be my complete solution for the try this problem. Thanks.